Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I said in the channel update video that I just released here a little while back that I was going to show y'all the feeding process that we're going through for the cows. So I figured I'd go ahead and get that done. I also mentioned in there that our hay was not very high quality this year because of the length of time it took us to get it brought in. And what I mean by that is that the grass was very mature. It had already started to die back, but also that later in the summer, our invasive species grasses kind of start taking over. This hay has a lot of broom sedge in it, and there's a lot of we call it Choriza or Cerisa lespedeza that has started to take over some of these pastures. Some of the pastures are stuff that has been fallow for, decades that we're trying to recover, so it moved in while it was not being used. But some of it is in pastures that we have been using. And the reason that that stuff starts moving in is when the soil quality drops. Your soil quality drops because your trace minerals go down, your fertilizer level goes down, your lime level drops, so it becomes acidic soil. And because of the state of the supply chain and the economy, i.e. the inflation rate that we've had on agricultural inputs since the events of 2020, we have been unable to fertilize and lime our pastures. So all of those things kind of have come together, and that means that the hay is not very high quality. Well, the result of that is instead of feeding 2 bales of hay for the cows, you end up feeding 4 bales of hay, 6 bales of hay. Today and for the next few days, we're going to have highs in the 20-degree Fahrenheit range and lows in the single digits with wind chills that are going to be below 0 Fahrenheit. So that means that the cows need a lot more calories going in to maintain their body temperature, their body weight, and deal with the cold. Another side effect is that our ponds freeze up, so we've got to go break the ice off the ponds so that the cattle can get water. So, it's just a lot of stuff that compounds that takes up time, and you've got to do if you got livestock. Because it's so cold and the hay sits outside, the stuff is frozen together, and I've been using a hay hook, this tool that you have a couple of them and you use them to toss square bales. Thankfully we don't use square bales, we use round bales. But I've been using this to break the outside layer of hay, get through the frozen stuff so that I can get the hay opened up and the cows can get to it. Well, today I'm going to try a new idea. I have my wife's baby battery powered pruning saw, and I'm going to give that a try to see if I can saw through it, kind of like they used to do 100 years ago using a manual saw, cutting stuff off of a giant hay mow in the barn. So anyway, I'm going to set the cameras up and we're going to go get this going. Now, because it's so cold, this tractor starts a lot easier with a little bit of ether to get it started.
That huge pile of trash in the background there is partially trash and partially trees and stuff that fell down when we had a big windstorm that came through. We've been gathering stuff up because we're going around and cleaning this place up since my father-in-law got put in a nursing home. So, not my trash, just something I'm having to deal with. you're unfamiliar with round bales, when you bale them, the hay is picked up off the ground and it's baled in a continuous spiral. So, you know, it rolls off one direction. If you roll it the wrong way, it just basically is tightening up the bale and re-rolling it. But I pulled forward and backed up here, and you're going to see me pull forward again because I'm trying to break the ice up that's inside the outside layers of this bale. So when I pull forward again here in a second, you're going to see that it's actually going to start unrolling better. You're about to get a better idea of why I'm trying to find an easier way to get the outside layers of these bales off with a chainsaw or something, because when they're frozen really solid, as cold as it is, it's really a pain to get the dang bale opened up so that the cattle can get to the hay. And the reason I'm rolling out some bales and leaving some bales basically whole is that they will walk all over the stuff on the ground. And of course, you know what cows do. They tend to drop their last meal all over whatever's on the ground. And by leaving the stuff in bales, it seems to last a little longer, but it also provides a little bit of shelter for these smaller calves because they'll bed down in it, especially with the wind blowing. They'll try to get on the leeward side and get into the bale of hay a little bit to stay warm.
Pig. Good girl. Leave Big Mama alone. Hey. Hey. Leave him alone. Thank you. Thank you. They're all waiting.
Yeah.
I can't figure out who this.
They're hitting each spot on the buffet
Yeah.
to see what they want first.
Right. They always think the next one's gonna be
Yeah.
better.
All right, I'm gonna go down and break the ice on the pond.
Yeah. I'll come through, close the gates, and then I'll.
You ain't gotta come down there.
Are you gonna just take the
Yeah, I'm
tractor?
just gonna take the tractor. Oh.
Isn't
Yeah,
he
that is a
cute?
good one.
Or she?
All right, clearly that battery operated little pruning chainsaw did not work for what I was trying to do. So I'm gonna try a saw with a little bit more power and see if we can get this stuff cut and make it a little easier to spread it out, because trying to get it torn apart with that hay hook, just, it's a pain. You can do it, but it ain't easy. And since our lows are down close to zero the last couple nights and gonna be for the next few days, I need to make this work. That worked a lot better. All right, the pond's frozen over because, like I said, it's been down close to zero. So I'm gonna try the chainsaw to see if it makes this ice breaking a little bit easier. Because the last few years, it's not fun doing it with a dang pry bar and an axe. So I'm gonna see if I can use the same technique I used on the hay. Well, that wasn't frozen as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But I've been trying to keep this edge broken up so it doesn't freeze back as thick overnight. So, oh crap. In addition to the hay, we augment with 24% protein tubs, and I put out a feed grain mix, and we keep mineral and salt blocks out so they eat that as needed. Some people feed salt mix because it's cheaper, but then the animals end up taking in a lot more salt than they need, and they need a lot more water because they're eating that salt. And I just don't think that it's a better way to go. So I put out feed and salt and mineral that they can get the salt and mineral at choice, so when they feel like they need it. So I'm gonna put this feed out. I've got them locked in where I had the hay, and otherwise they'd be running up my back to get this feed. Now in this cold weather, what we normally end up doing, or what I normally end up doing, is putting out about 300 to 400 pounds of feed a week. When we've got plenty of grass, I'm not too concerned about it. And when the hay we put up is really good, I'm not concerned about it. But this hay, because we put it up so late, is really poor quality hay. And so we've got to get them something to keep their metabolism up high enough that they can deal with this cold weather. And it's kind of funny, some of them are serious feed hogs, and they'll run over and check the dang feed bunk every time I come out here. But some of them just stay on the hay because they've already got something to eat. All right, well, that's the process for feeding these cattle in this cold weather. I like it a lot better when it's warm and I just move them from one pasture to another. But thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day.